Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2Lift in our Expert on the Microphone series. Today, we're joined by Julie Bass Kaplan. She's a board-certified family nurse practitioner, injector, and educator. She began her aesthetic career in 1990. She and her husband, Jory, co-founded Disappearing Act Laser and Skin Rejuvenation in 1999, and she's been injecting fillers and neurotoxins since 2001. Quite the seasoned professional. Subsequently, she founded Jubilant Medical Aesthetics and Training Center in Ashland, Oregon, and travels internationally to teach the art and safety of medical aesthetic injectables, something she is deeply passionate about. She joins me today to chat all about injectable treatments, how CO2Lift is complementing the results, and the importance of education in an era of such rapid advancements. Welcoming now to the show is Julie Bass Kaplan. Welcome, superstar.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
So excited. So let's dive right in. You're no doubt a master in the art of facial aesthetics, particularly when it comes to injectables like fillers and neurotoxins. And interestingly enough, in the past few years, there's been a noticeable shift in patient preference, with more people opting for minimally invasive or even non-invasive treatments over surgical options. Now, in your expert opinion, what do you think is driving the growing demand for these non-invasive procedures and products?
I really believe that a lot of people just don't have the desire for downtime. You know, we are so busy these days that we don't have time to look really bad, to have sort of a pizza face for a week or 2 weeks. So downtime is a big driver in my practice. And I think really across the world, the more technology is getting better and better. And that's what I just see. I see people coming in and going, when will I see the results, and will I be able to go to work today?
Wow. And with so many options available, from like Botox to fillers to biostimulators, how do you determine like the best approach for each patient? And what are some of the most in-demand injectable treatments you're seeing right now?
Yeah, so I think every patient is so different. And I think that we as practitioners should really take the time to get to know them, because if you connect with that patient and really have the time to educate them and tell them about each option that you have and develop a care plan from the very beginning, from the very first consultation, that's the best thing to do, because everybody is so wildly different. They have different goals. They have different health care issues. They have different skin types. So I think the more confident we get as practitioners, the better we're going to do on these care plans. And I really believe that the happiest patients that are going to actually stick to a care plan are the ones that are super educated by you and that trust you. So I do like to weave in their non-invasive and educational needs about their skin. A lot of people have no idea about skincare products, how they work and how to use them. And that's something that is absolutely non-invasive, and I hope nobody leaves my office empty-handed, and at least they leave with full heads and more of an understanding of how to really have healthy skin and healthy bodies as they walk out the door. But yeah, we don't, in the past, if we're so busy, we don't take the time to educate them. But I do really love the non-invasive stuff, and the regenerative medicine that's coming out now is super exciting.
Yes, there's so many strides and the industry is advancing so rapidly. Now let's bring CO2Lift into the picture. As we know, carboxytherapy, it's been around since the 1930s, and injecting carbon dioxide gas underneath the skin is not something new, but CO2Lift was able to remodel this in a new delivery system as a topical gel mask. And while it has many monotherapy benefits, it can also be used in combo therapies, both pre and post procedure. Julie, how does CO2Lift fit into your broader aesthetic treatment plans, especially for injectables? And how have you firsthand seen it improve a patient's results and recovery?
So I think the place it really shines is an add-on to a treatment such as laser or hybrid laser, RF microneedling, regular microneedling, things that actually leave you some downtime straight off. Nobody wants to leave my office looking like a cherry tomato, or like they just got out of a horror film. So what I found is that if we put it on right after their procedure, they first of all they have that extra 30 minutes to sit and relax and have that, if you will, moment of zen. And then when they take it off, their skin is notably less red. Pre-procedure, I think there's a lot of it benefits from that too, because it does kind of give them a little bit of like getting their skin super healthy before they undergo an invasive treatment, and not only that, before a night out, say it's your anniversary, you want to look stunning, or you're going on stage, or you're going anywhere you're going to be seen by the public, or you want to look good for your partner, it just gives you this beautiful glow. So
Yeah.
I keep it by my bedside,
I love it.
just because it's kind of fun to put it on and lay there, take it off, and just feel really, really, I don't know, sexy and glowy. I just really
Wow.
love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great endorsement. And going beyond your practice, I mean, you're a trusted source and educator in the aesthetic field, teaching others how to safely inject. And as someone who I'm sure you've seen it all, I'd love it if you could just share with us the most common challenges patients face during recovery from injectable treatments, and maybe even some of the biggest mistakes you've seen from poorly performed injectables, such as, vascular occlusions or nodules or overfilling. What steps do you take to manage these complications?
So yes, I've seen it all. And I think I see a lot less experienced injectors having a lot of trouble. I think it's the people that don't get the attention and get the training that feel like they're out alone on an island, because there's so many possible side effects that people could have, and adverse events that people could have. And the more you know, and the more you have a community around you that can help you, I think you won't feel just so scared and alone. And as far as patients go, it's really good to seek a practitioner with a lot of experience who also knows how to manage every single adverse event, from nodules to vascular adverse events to infection, to, like you said, overfilled situation. What if they overfill you with something you can't reverse? Um, Also, finding a practitioner that doesn't go on the cheap and order off the internet, because you never know what's really coming in that shipment to their doorstep. It could be silicone. I've seen that over and over and over, where I can't reverse something, and then they say, hey, this won't go away. I've been to lots of practitioners. Then I look with my ultrasound and I see silicone oil. Patients have no idea what people are putting in them. And finding somebody that you absolutely trust is vital. Yeah. And so that's me trying to answer a loaded question.
Well, you did great. You did great. So now I know CO2Lift can even help with some of these complications, even serious ones like the vascular occlusion. Could you share a bit about that?
Yeah, so we have a kit. Yvonne Delos has this wonderful aesthetic ER kit. It's so cute. It looks like a little Chanel bag, but it's like a fishing tackle box. It looks like a Chanel bag, and it's easy to find in your practice, So we whip that out. That kit has something for everything in there, including blindness. So yeah, we're just up to date all the time on research of how to treat each and every adverse event. And carboxy gel, the CO2Lift Pro, it really helps in oxygenating a face that is, or skin that is lacking of oxygen from an adverse event that's a vascular adverse event. So it's on our protocol, and it's in our bag.
All right. Now let's shift gears. All right. CO2Lift, that was a great, great real experience there that having a toolkit and having CO2Lift Pro at your disposal for a myriad of functionalities is very impressive, because it's not just an at-home gel mask. This is being used pre and post therapy. I've even heard it compared to a hyperbaric oxygen chamber by some of the top experts, but it's being used all around. So I'm going to shift gears to touch on another product CO2Lift offers, which is the CO2Lift V for vaginal and vulvar rejuvenation. It's a painless, effective treatment that has really no downtime, addresses vaginal dryness, urinary issues, vaginal laxity, and just so much more. I know you have experience with the product. How have you witnessed CO2Lift V transform a woman's comfort and life? And why do you think it's so important to address women's intimate health?
Well, going back to what I said earlier about connecting with your patients, it is a huge deal, and I think that not only when we're connecting with them, we should not only just give them suggestions of what we think they need. I think it's a great idea to have sort of a sushi list of items with photographs. That you hand them like a dry erase. You can laminate it and have a dry erase pen on it so they can X out what their concerns are. But putting vaginal issues on there is a great idea. And you know, you could have a picture of a woman in her bikini. It doesn't have to be disgusting photo, you know, but because a lot of times if it's just on a checklist and they check it, it kind of opens the door for me to say, yeah, you know, here we are. We're middle aged now. Can you believe it? And what issues are you having? And then sometimes if they ask me a personal question, I'll be honest with them and I'll open up to them and really share these things together. You know, practitioner to woman. It might be a little more awkward if you're a man talking about this, but you can. But I absolutely open up to my patients and say, hey, there's no shame in vaginal dryness or, you know, urinary issues. But I do have a painless, procedure-free way that you can be helped by this. And let me just say, I am 57 years old and my husband is 17 years older than I am. And so he's
Wow.
75. He's 75. And we really, really, really love each other. So the creator of the VLIF said, hey, Julie, I want to tell you something. Off label, you can try using it as a lube. And let me tell you, so now we mix it up. We wait a minute. We put it in, and then we have the best sex of our lives.
Wow. Oh my God. You just blew my mind.
I
I
mean,
love this.
it is incredible. I mean, my husband, that 75-year-old guy, it's even better than when he was 48. We've been married for so long, and I mean, we're going like several times, and it's so fun. And me too. I'm just like, hey, wow, I could still like have like an extended period of a lot of fun.
Wow, this is amazing. I love to hear these amazing stories. Well, there, thank you very much for that real life testimonial. Now, before we wrap up here, let's go back to education. I know this is a deep passion of yours. You're a speaker and trainer for Allergan Medical Institute and Galderma, and you regularly hold small group workshops at your training center in Ashland, Oregon, including your monthly anatomy workshop, Jubilant Head and Breakfast. And of course, you educate online and travel internationally to speak and teach the art and safety of medical aesthetic injectables. Why do you believe education is so crucial in this field for both students and practicing professionals, especially in an era of such rapid advancement?
Yeah, well, it's this field of medicine is rapidly growing and it's very, very new. If you think about it, you know, I bought a hair removal laser in 1999 and started nursing school that same year because that's all I knew. That's what I wanted to do. I had a goatee and I wanted it gone. That's the real reason I started in this field. So I started this business by the hair of my chinny chin chin, literally. But
That's so
I
funny.
really, it's true. And then Botox was FDA approved for wrinkles, and that was in, late 2001, 2002. So I got my nursing degree in 2001, and it was prime just to hit the ground running. But I told you before, there was no trainers. There was nobody out there. There's literally, you open up a Botox, information sheet, and there's just 5 little X's on this drawing. All not talking about where the muscles are, not talking about any of that. Just here's where you point, not how deep you even put the needle. So we all had to make a lot of mistakes to figure it out. But now it's a totally different thing. We're talking, 25 years later, there's so much research happening, and it's just really soared. The trajectory of people paying attention to this field of medicine has exploded. But you have to take the time to catch up. You have to take the time to learn. When before there's just a laser hair removal and there was maybe tattoo removal machine. Now there's so many machines. There's so many devices, so many procedures. So one of the challenges I have in onboarding a new provider in my practice is, where do you start? And yeah, I mean, because it's like I got to learn one brick at a time. They're faced with a big wall of information, Yeah. I got to wade into the ocean. They were tossed into a sea of sharks. So I just feel like small group workshops is the way to go. You learn more by being one-on-one with the person teaching, and in not being afraid to ask questions. That's why my workshops are 3-4 days at a time, because I want them to get to know me and not be afraid to ask me anything. And truly, they cannot ask me any stupid questions. And there's a lot of questions they might ask that I don't know yet. So I say, hey, let's research this. And now there's so much research. If there's something we don't know, there's research. And guess what? A lot of nurses, nurse practitioners, PAs, MDs, DOs, we are all figuring it out together and trying to take that time to write a study, to write research ourselves. So it's an exciting time. I think it's just going to keep going. And I think the direction aesthetic medicine will find is absolutely wellness, regenerative medicine. I think in the future, it's going to be a lot about regenerative medicine, and it'll be less foreign objects being injected into our face or foreign implants. I think it's going to be a lot more natural. And I'm glad the look is going more natural too. I think that's what I have always liked. If you look back through my Instagram, you'll see me not looking so natural because we all tried stuff out, and it's kind of embarrassing, but I'm not going to erase it. I just want everybody to understand that we're all figuring this out together. Yeah. I look at my lips, 5 years ago, they were so wide because I kept putting new filler on top of old filler instead of erasing it and getting a fresh start. But filler really lasts a long, long, long time. So we really shouldn't be just injecting ourselves.
Stacking it. Yeah. You've made a lot of great points, a lot of great information. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, we could talk about this for another 20 minutes and keep going, but we are officially out of time. But I thank you so much for really just shining a light on these important topics and helping educate, our audience, and more importantly, keeping it real.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I had a great time.
That was our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2Lift. And that was the incredible Julie Bass Kaplan, board certified family nurse practitioner, injector, and educator. Definitely check her out and her husband's practice at disappearingactlaser.com and her training center and programs at Jubilant headandbreakfast.com. And of course, you can follow her on Instagram at jubilant.julie. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2Lift. CO2Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to CO2lift.com.